They are 14-3. Luke, it's absolutely wild.
Look at these guys.
I mean,
look at them.
San Francisco now could either be the number 5 seed or the number 6 seed. They'll start the playoffs on the road against the winner of the NFC South, and we'll get to the NFC South in just a second. Or if the Rams beat the Cardinals in LA Sunday, the Rams become the 5 seed. San Francisco goes to 6, the number 3 seed. And they'll play the number 3 seed. That could be the Bears or the Eagles. So you really want that 5 seed if you can get it.
Badly.
At the end of the day, you watch that first half, San Francisco just could get nothing going at all. And it comes down to Seattle's defense, and they come through again.
Yeah, this does kind of have some makings of the 2013 team where it was run game and defense. And that's what you saw. This defense, I thought at all 3 levels, defensive line, linebackers, DBs, they were on it. They smothered this team. And this was a hot offense right now. Purdy was on fire coming into today. And it just felt, you could see the frustration from Shanahan, Purdy. He had no time. He got sacked a bunch. What can you say here? You look at these things and you're like, man, this team's absolutely cooked.
And we wondered how Sam Darnold would fare in the biggest games. Troy Aikman talked about it a couple of weeks ago. They beat the Rams in overtime. That was like he overcame the demons there. Yeah. And now he didn't look amazing, but he didn't turn the ball over either.
No, and it's unfair. Like, he has a couple bad plays. What do you want this guy to throw a perfect game? I thought he came out here. The run game was going. Yep. Like we talked about, they handled this thing. Seattle can run the football. That is the main ordeal. And you look at Sam, him and JSN, not a huge night by their standards, but still a very solid night. I just believe 84 receiving yards. So by anyone else's standards, you're on fire. Okay, Cooper Kupp had a couple big plays on that last drive to kind of seal the deal. I thought Sam was very, very sharp. There was a throw we watched on the highlight on 4th down that he would like back. There was another throw on a rollout. And Troy Aikman, I generally think he's played the position pretty well. Was like, listen, this is a very tough throw to make. He missed JSN once. But here's the thing. If you're a Seahawks fan and you have this run game going, and we all love to talk about, and we'll probably get to this, the Niners run game, Kyle Shanahan, we got to remember that Clint Kubiak, who is from the Mike Shanahan, Gary Kubiak tree, is the Seattle Seahawks offensive coordinator. If they have a run game going, that is the perfect scenario. Great defense, run game, and Sam Darnold doesn't have to be some sort of miraculous guy. Just make the throws. And I thought for the most part, he had a pretty solid night today.
Well, let's hear from him. He's standing by with Laura Rutledge.
You're going to get the first round bye, home field advantage. What made the difference tonight on the road?
Shoot, I feel like we didn't do exactly what we wanted to do as an offense in the red zone. I felt like there was a lot of opportunities missed there, but our defense picked us up. They have been all year. They've been doing a great job. So it was just a total team effort tonight. So proud of the guys in that locker room.
When you think about this time last year, Week 18 with the Vikings didn't go as well as tonight went. Just what do you think has changed for you that now you can use to go forward?
Nothing really. I mean, it's just, learning from mistakes. And, staying calm in the pocket, understanding my progressions and getting the ball down to the backs. And our offensive line, too, that last drive, the way they were able to run it, that last drive was incredible. So a lot of credit to those guys.
You gave credit to your defense, of course. When you think about the way that this team is constructed, why are you guys built for an extended postseason run?
Yeah, I mean, we're just resilient. We've won so many different ways all year, so we're just going to continue to be resilient and be that team that continues to build and get better throughout the weeks.
All right, thanks so much, Sam.
Thanks, Laura.
Yeah, he said it. At the end of the day, the defense won them this football game, and the defense held Brock Purdy, who had thrown 10 total touchdowns over the last 2 games, basically nothing, shut out on Saturday night. So let's talk about Purdy. What happened to the Niners offense?
Well, again, you go to the Shanahan offense, and why everyone in the last few weeks have been like, oh, Purdy's look great and everything's going, is because they've had a run game. There's some graphics coming up. Statistically, this team tries to run the ball, but their yards per carry is terrible. And that, again, happened tonight. They were absolutely stymied up front, and they kept trying to establish it. And it just wasn't working. Now, it doesn't help when Trent Williams is not playing. So that's the first thing. But that being said, last week, Trent Williams was out. And, early in that game, and they were able to run the football. Well, this was a very, very different unit. So now it puts a ton of stress on Purdy to make these throws. And you take out Pearsall, who was also not playing, and you have the DBs that Seattle has, you just aren't going to get that much separation. So, again, I tip my cap. Jay, we talked about this is an elite unit in Seattle. Coming into today, they were number 2 on defense as far as points scored. and very close to the Houston Texans for number 1. And with this now thrown in that average, we'll see what happens to Houston. But they could definitely be even closer or number 1, again, depending on how things go. But I'll say this, like, it's a tough team to beat. And now, speaking of the Seahawks, that they get to play at Lumen Field. I have done 2 playoff runs where we were the 1 seed. That crowd will be nuts. There'll be a Seattle miss there. The defense is nasty. It's mean. The run game is coming to life. This team is a wagon, as they say.
And so, are they actually the best team in the NFC?
No. No, they're not. Listen, I wish I could say they were. They're not, Jay. The reality is that the best team is the LA Rams. As much as it pains me to say that, I'm not a Rams guy. I am a Matthew Stafford guy, as you know. But I will not let recency bias affect that. You go back a couple weeks to the Rams game. The Rams had no business losing to the Seahawks at Lumen Field. No business. I mean, we're going back to the 2-point conversion off the head, the missed field goal late in the game. The Rams have jammed themselves this year, and they jammed themselves last week as well. But when the Rams are rolling, they are my best team in the NFL. So that's my personal opinion. I still think that the Rams are the most complete team and have the most weapons, both on offense. Their defense is not as good as Seattle's, but is a very good unit. I worry that Sean McVay and Matthew Stafford are about to go on a real nasty. I think they'll probably be the 5 seed run.
Yep.
So I'm going to have to go with the Rams.
Look out NFC. Look out NFC South. Okay, before we get to the other big game from Saturday, Jason Myers, 2 missed field goals. You worried? I can't believe I'm asking you a field goal question.
Yeah, and it's funny. This is probably the only I do personally know. I like to be honest. Personally know Jason Myers. He's the most normal kicker I've ever played with. I mean that in the best way.
They're like goalies?
Yeah, very much so. And if you look at what he's done this year, he's been amazing. I really don't, again, from a personal note here, he doesn't strike me as a guy who gets in his head. He's been tremendous year after year. He's got a great leg. He's very down to earth. I would be shocked if this affects him. I really would. I think that Jay Myers will be ready to roll come playoff time for Seattle.
I know Kenneth Walker III will be ready to roll. He's standing by with Lisa Salters on the field.
Just the 3rd and 17 that you guys were able to convert, that really seemed to be the backbreaker. Just when could you tell that you guys were just wearing their defense down?
Coach always talk about it's a softening process. So, you just got to trust it and keep going, and, you'll see them get tired.
Sam Darnold would not say it, but what does this mean for him to get this win tonight?
For him to get his win?
For him to get this with everything that he's been through.
Yeah, I know it means a lot. He's been through a lot, but, he's a great leader for this team and a great teammate, so I know it means a lot to him, and we'll see him in the locker room giving a lot of energy.
All right, thanks, Kenneth. Congrats on the win.
Kind of confused Kenneth with that question.
If I may, Jay.
Absolutely. Let's let you have the floor here.
What's frustrating when I hear that, I'm reacting to that, is like they don't talk like this in the locker room. Like we're not like, man, Sam can't get it done. Remember what he did last year? That's never, like he's obviously young, but he's like, what are you even talking about? Like the media narratives, and now that I'm on this side of it for a while now, are not talked about consistently in the locker room. It's very much like we have to beat San Fran for the win.
Right, that's the end of it.
Nobody in that locker room is like, well, Sam's not going to get it done. Like, Walker, dude, what are you talking about? I got no idea.
I really felt bad for Kenneth Walker.
He said,
there
what?
Lisa's a terrific reporter, by the way. We're just talking about Luke's personal opinion.